Hey Froggy friends, Kirostyle here, welcome back to Alice Madness Returns. Thank you so much for joining me here on stream, I really appreciate it. Hey everyone, good to see you. So, since the last stream, I went back and I collected all the bottles that I was missing to get all the collectibles for the art gallery, because I want to look at the art gallery once we finish this game. I didn't get all the memories, I got a couple of the extra memories that I missed, but I'm not going for 100% completion. I did do 100% completion on my original PS3 copy of this game, but again, this is the Steam copy, so again, we will pray for no technical errors this time. Thank you for the sleeveless redeem, Rana, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I know you guys are already here. This is because I'm gonna cut it for YouTube, and it needs to start off with an introduction. I need to do the YouTuber intro. Let's just have a quick look at the collectibles. So again, I went back, I got all the bottles from Hatter's Domain, I got them from Diluted Depths, and the Oriental Grove. We already had all the bottles from Queensland, so I didn't actually have to go back. And then the Dollhouse, I got all the bottles as well. Most of the bottles I was missing from the beginning of the levels as well, and not so much from the middle of the level, which is nice. It took me about 3 hours total to go back and get all the bottles. I was using a guide, but some of the guides aren't super helpful or they're not as descriptive, so I was trying to make it efficient. But we're finally on the last chapter of this game. In chapter 5, at the end, we found out that the doll maker is the antagonist of the game, who is the Wonderland version of Dr. Bumby, who is revealed to be the one who caused the fire, and is trying to erase Alice's memory under the guise of being like a psychiatrist, to make her forget about her past and also his crimes. Alice remembered that though, and now she, I guess, woke up back in London, and we are on our way to confront him. Chapter 6 is just a boss fight, there's no collectibles, so afterwards we'll go look at the gallery and look at all the art, because the art in this game is really cool. Also in the first stream of this game, at the end, I also said something incorrect. At the end of the stream, I said that the OST track for the London areas is named after the word Lunderland, which is kind of like a fun play on the word London and Wonderland. That is actually not completely true. I actually corrected that in the VOD. I'll talk about it today, but after we do the boss fight, because it'll make more sense after that. So, I'm going to press continue game, and usually this is where the game crashes, so I really, really hope it doesn't crash when I press continue game. Rose, thank you so much for following me and welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for being a Froggy friend. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna press continue. Okay, that looks good. Good. The loading screen looks good. Alright, so here we are, back in London. Well, so it appears. It's kind of snowing, but all the kids on the street seem to be ghost children, so well, I don't think rocks float like that in real life. Yeah, thanks for coming by, Rose. You came in with the raid, you came in with CB. I really appreciate it. Hope you were able to sit back and relax. Oh, so this is, oh yeah, this is Bumby's orphanage, the Houndsditch home for wayward youth. This is where he's been taking kids and doing unscrupulous things with them. Yeah, Angus Bumby, what a name. I was reading about how in the dollhouse area there were those like fleshy looking pads that the spikes were jamming into, and people were saying that maybe the fleshy stuff was a reference to Angus Bumby's first name, because Angus, like beef, so it looked like kind of, the flesh kind of looked like beef. Hey Aiden, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you so much for following me. I really appreciate it. Looks like there's some smoke coming from down here. Remember that the doll maker is controlling the infernal train as well, which was originally a train that was conducted by the Mock Turtle and built by the Dormouse and the March Hare, but it seems that the doll maker has kind of commandeered it.
You! Oh, oozing sore of depravity. Children wearing their names around their necks as if they're breeding livestock.
A declaration of their pedigree. You could use one. They're proud to display their provenance.
You brute! They can't remember who they are or where they're from. How many minds have you twisted into forgetfulness?
Not enough. Yours would have been a triumph. Still, you're an insane wreck. My work is done.
That's a continuation from the cutscene at the end of chapter 5. Again, I love the design of this train. It's like a giant cathedral. I'll switch to my teapot. Got my weapons ready.
Hatter, I must stop this infernal train and the evil force that drives it.
Everything's a nail, is it, Miss Hammerhead? First it was all search, freighted with fear and fragmented memories. Now it's the train. Never time for tea. While your brain's on holiday, we're ruined. Now we're all mad here, and that's a good excuse for going to hell in a teapot, but not for forgetting what your senses saw. Forgetting is just forgetting, except when it's not. Then they call it something else. I'd like to forget what you did. I've tried, but I can't.
You've used me and abused me, but you will not destroy me.
No, the damage is done. The old Alice and her Wonderland retreat are demolished. You can't even recognize what's happened, and you're powerless to change it or move against me. I've made certain of that. Come to receive your punishment, then?
I know I'm guilty of something, but punishment never suits the victims of the crime.
Abuse is a crime the strong visit on the weak. And you're right, abusers are insufficiently punished for the damage they do. Those who witness abuse without seeking retribution for the harmed pay a penalty. Your own pain mitigates your failure to act earlier, but you may not yet have paid enough for witnessing the pain of others.
So that's really interesting too, because we talked about how the dollhouse area was like symbolism, because on the top it was like a happy playhouse, and then on the bottom it was that like evil workshop where they were like taxidermizing the animals and then turning the kids into dolls and shipping them off. And people were saying that part of it is also symbolism because like Alice has been witness to some of these things at her time at the orphanage, but she either didn't realize what was going on or she was turning a blind eye because of her own trauma. And so in a way it was almost like she was complicit in what Bumby was doing until she realized or reawakened and decided to stop him. So it's kind of almost like showing that dark underbelly there, which is kind of interesting. There's so many different ways you can take a lot of the symbolism in this game.
You corrupted my memories, but you failed to make me forget.
I could have made you into a tasty bit. Clients out the door waiting for a piece from a raving, delusional beauty with no memory of the past or no sense of the future. But you wouldn't forget. You insisted on holding on to your fantasies. You're mad, like your sister.
Don't speak of her. You didn't know her.
Your sister was a tease, pretended to despise me. She got what she wanted in the end.
Hey Hakaze, welcome to the stream.
My Lizzie, what is this train's destination?
Madness and destruction. You shouldn't ask questions you know the answer to. It's not polite. And that noise wasn't Lizzie talking in her sleep.
Oh, no. Oh, poor Lizzie.
And there are no centaurs in Oxford. Make your survival mean something, or we are all doomed!
And so the Queen of Hearts in this game looks kind of like a younger Alice, which also kind of makes her look like Lizzie. And again, this game almost makes it sound like the Queen of Hearts is taking the face and form of Lizzie. But the art book and an interview with American McGee confirms that the Queen of Hearts is supposed to be a younger Alice instead. She's a representation of her madness. Gosh, at the end of the last little walking section, I was trying to go over here to the railing and see what's outside, but then it activated the cutscene. Yeah, let's go beat up that Dr. Bumby. He deserves it. Ooh, again, look at that. It's all that ooze underneath. Yeah, beat his bum. Beat that Bumby's bum. So notice one of his hands has black fingernails and the other one is red. Almost like as if to... Oh. Almost as if like red and blue, or red and black suits the cars. Spawn ads, come on. Oh, hey. Hey, okay, I hate locking onto them sometimes because it makes it so that the camera gets all funky. You can kill the enemies for hearts though, sometimes. Alice kills him here, does he die in the real world? I guess you're just gonna have to find out.
Significant. The cost of forgetting is high.
So this hand has the red finger nails. They both have different attacks too. Hey, I dodged that. It's like fighting Master Hand and Crazy Hand. Get away from me. Ow. Okay, come on. Yeah, I need to. I shouldn't target him unless I'm actually committed to attacking him. Oh, come on, he was vulnerable there. You thought the hand was flipping me off. Again, it's hard to dodge him when I'm targeted on him, because the camera gets all weird. Oh, hi. Oh great, no, not the menacing ruin. It's so hard to fight two things at once. Oh, come on. Actually, this might be a little harder than I thought. Great, great, great. Someone give me some hearts.
Make believe, Avenger.
So in this phase, you shouldn't even bother attacking the hands. You just gotta dodge them because they don't have masks on them anymore. Hey, no, I dodged that! I dodged that! How dare you! Okay, this doesn't look so good. Oh, come on! I'm trying to enter Hysteria. Just give me Hysteria. Oh. Give me some hearts. Oh god, no, I'm trying to get hearts! I'm trying to get hearts! Hysteria. Open up! Open your stupid mask! Oh god, I forgot I can still take damage in Hysteria. No! I need to kill that guy for his heart! Oh, that's not good. Oh god, no! I was trying to. Okay, I need to do a better job dodging his second phase.
Make believe, Avenger.
I think I was talking a little too much. Oh wait, no, I can start from this phase? Are you serious? Okay, sweet. Get away from me. Get away from me. Yes, give me the hearts. Show your face. Show me your face. Thank you. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Absurd pugilist.
Oh, that was easy. Oh, Nirwan, thank you so much for following me. Welcome to the Froggy Friends. Welcome to stream.
I'll see you charged. In prison, some half-wit bruiser will make you his sweetheart, and then you'll hang.
Indeed. A hysterical woman, former lunatic, roaring outrageous accusations against a respectable social architect and scientist. My God, Alice, who would believe you? I scarcely believe it myself.
You, monstrous creature. Such evil will be punished.
By whom? By what? Psychotic, silly bitch. Your madness will be punished. Now leave. I'm expecting your replacement.
Can I go back down here? Yeah, good thing this was London before CCTV was invented. So, you could see here now, Wonderland is starting to encroach upon London. This is the soundtrack used for Wonderland. It's like Alice is reawakened. Her fantasy world is merging with the real world. Yeah, she embraced the crazy. Again, it's so weird he was using Lizzie's key to try to hypnotize her. I also can only walk in this area.
Ah, Alice. We can't go home again. No surprise, really. Only a very few find the way, and most of them don't recognize it when they do. Delusions, too, die hard. Only the savage regard the endurance of pain as the measure of worth. Forgetting pain is convenient. Remembering it, agonizing. But recovering the truth is worth the suffering. And our Wonderland, though damaged, is safe in memory for now.
Well, there we go. You need a license to have TV back then? That's crazy. Man, times have changed. Yeah, that was Alice Madness Returns. Again, this is the second game in the series. The first game is American McGee's Alice in Wonderland. They planned a sequel for this game, kickstarted it. The original sequel was going to be called Alice Otherworlds, and was it Otherworlds or Otherlands? I think it was Otherlands. And in Otherlands, Alice was supposed to go dive into the minds of other famous people from her time period, like Jules Verne and Richard Wagner and other people. They funded it, and instead of making a game, they made it as 2 short films. I think they're free on YouTube. I haven't watched them yet. But they only made, I think, the one for Jules Verne. And I think it's only like, together they're only like 15, 20 minutes long. So, not exactly like a full sequel. But then they tried to kickstart Alice Asylum, which was going to be the actual third game. EA was going to pick it up. They were the developers. But then they canceled it last month, and people were going to kickstart to get American McGee back the rights. But then American McGee said that he wasn't interested in doing more Alice games now, which fair, because this game came out in 2011, and the first game came out in 2000. So I can see why he wants to move on to something different. But it's a shame we're not going to get more of this with an updated graphics system and gameplay system. Like, again, overall, I like this game mostly because I love like the art style. I have the art book for it. We're going to look at the art gallery later. The character designs. The gameplay is actually pretty fun. I just wish the targeting system wasn't so clunky. Like, I wish that you could just L and R tab target enemies, and you could still move your camera when targeting, because when you lock onto an enemy, the camera, you lose control of it. And every time I try to use the camera stick to move the camera when targeting someone, that just changed your target. I would have switched the button for swapping ranged weapons and switched the button for tab targeting. Like, that's what I would have personally liked. Yeah, like the butterfly dodging is super cool. I love the idea that a heavy weapon is like a hobby horse. Also, is there supposed to be music now? Or just stop? The teapot cannon is pretty cool. I love the pepper grinder too. The idea of fighting at range with a pepper grinder is just really interesting. Yeah, I give it, this game is, again, 2011, so I will give it some forgiveness for the controls. The Steam version of the game, unfortunately, has some problems with it. Like, it crashes easily, it freezes easily. The DLC is not implemented in the Steam version of it, but yet you can still try to access it, but then it just crashes the game, so why even have that option there? So, like, the PS3 and Xbox versions of the game are obviously superior, but again, for accessibility, Steam one, you can get by. I am disappointed that they didn't have boss battles at the end of every chapter. I think they were originally going to. The first game had bosses at the end of every chapter, but this one did not. Probably because of budgeting and time. There's some concept art in the gallery of enemies that they weren't able to implement, like the toy soldier, for example, and the dog doll. So they definitely had to cut some stuff. It feels like it's missing something big without the boss battles, but it was still like a fair amount of nice fighting. Enemy variety was okay. Each area was interesting. I love how she has different dresses, enemy types, some of them being specific to an area was kind of neat, like the card soldiers or the teapot guys or the dolls. I would have loved to see more, but I think it's a good length for what it is. Oh yeah, also I would like it if they fixed the saving system, like if a game froze in the middle of a chapter, if you could restart from a checkpoint from the chapter select in that chapter, it'd be nice. Because the chapter is only available for chapter select once you clear that chapter. So it's hard if the game crashes to go back. Because it only has an autosave checkpoint and then it has the chapter select. But yeah, I think this game's pretty interesting. Did it ever crash me when I wasn't streaming it? Yes. Actually, when I was gathering the bottles the other day, again, it took me about 3 hours to do it off stream. After I got the last bottle I was missing, very shortly after the game crashed. Luckily, I was able to get to a checkpoint, so it saved it, but it was like, are you kidding me? Obviously, the game has to send me off with a crash. There was also, I mean, this isn't the game's fault, but there was like, in Chapter 3, I went back off stream to pick up the last Rattler room, and I was trying to record it on OBS to put it in the VOD, and then OBS crashed while I was recording it right after I finished that Rattler room, so I had to go back and do it again. I think that's more OBS's fault, or could be like OBS's interaction with the game. So I'm glad to be done with this game just because I don't have to deal with the technical things anymore. But it was a fun game. Also, I wish this game had like a windowed mode. It only has full screen, which games that only have full screen mode, it just makes it hard to stream and tab out compared to games that only have full screen mode, personally, I find. It also means every time I tab out, the music stops and the game like screen freezes, so it just makes it hard to, for example, write a shout out for someone in the Twitch chat when they come and raid me during this game. So yeah, Dark Horse Books published the art book. I got it from their website. I'm not sure if they're still selling it. You could probably find copies, it's probably expensive. It's like a really heavy book too. It's really heavy, thick hardcover. It looks like a storybook. When you open it up, all the art is like laid out like in a storybook style with like comments and stuff. So it's really cool. There's also like concept art and information about Alice Otherlands and Alice Asylum, about what they wanted to implement, about some of the dresses that she was going to wear. They drew pictures of some of the enemies she was going to encounter. An illusion of Dr. Bumby was supposed to appear in Alice Asylum, as well as like some of the other characters like Nurse Witless and Dr. Wilson and Nurse D. Radcliffe, like a lot of those characters were supposed to return with like implications. They were going to go into how the Red Queen and the Queen of Hearts merged together to form one Queen of Hearts was also on the table. There was a lot of stuff that they actually really wanted to implement, and it sounds so cool when you read about it, which just makes it hurt more that we didn't actually get it, which is unfortunate. Man, these credits are long. Is it just because they're scrolling really slowly? Not showing too much text at the same time on the screen. Oh well, gives us time to talk. I feel like there should be music during this part of the credits though, but the music kind of stops. So the music was also good. Unfortunately, the soundtrack for this game is kind of short. I wish it had a little bit more to it, but the tracks are pretty good. Like even just the main theme. I like the Veil of Tears theme. The dollhouse was good. The car bridge area was good. A lot of the areas just had like tense music, which was fine, but yeah, all these like localization shoutouts. Yeah, this game's available in quite a few languages as well, which is nice. I also like how the menu on the start screen even has like a bunch of artwork behind it, like you have pictures of like brains and like body parts and like taxidermized animals and like fetuses. Like it's, again, it adds that horror macabre kind of theme to it. Come on, game. I don't want to just quit out of the credits because I feel like that'd be kind of rude. But we are also going to go through the art gallery, which is why I went back and collected all the bottles. Unfortunately, it's not that each bottle corresponds to a single piece of art as well. You need to collect all the bottles in one chapter to unlock all the art and characters for that chapter. So if you don't collect all the bottles, it's like an all or nothing deal. While the memories, once you collect them, it's just you can just replay those memories, they're just quick little voice lines. It's the 2010s EA. I'm gonna be here for a while. You're right. That battle didn't take as long as I thought. Again, I was playing on normal difficulty. There is an easy difficulty and a hard difficulty too. But it was just annoying trying to target those floating menacing ruins, or what are they called? Floating ruins? Drifting ruins, while also dodging the hands, because you're waiting for the drifting ruins to have their heads appear, and then when they do, you have a limited time where you could target them, and then the targeting's kind of wonky, so... Yeah, look at all these countries. Oh, bitch babies are the floating doll enemies in the dollhouse area. So they weren't the drifting ruins are the blobby enemies with the doll faces, and then the bitch babies are they're like the doll heads with like the 4 legs. They're only in chapter 5. I think you get an achievement for killing 10 bitch babies using only your umbrella. Like you can deflect their little globs back at them and it instantly kills them, but I prefer to just hit them with the teapots. Yeah, they're actually called bitch babies. I was talking about how like this game's rated M, but back when I got it, I was like, are they allowed to say that? Are they allowed to say that? Even like the PS3 and Xbox achievement for killing 10 of them using the umbrella describes it in the description. I'm like, are they allowed to write that? Can they use that word? No, you're not mishearing it. We'll see it in the art gallery. Again, very interesting names of the enemies. I do wish there was more enemy variety. Yeah, it was on screen too, and the first one flies out and it just like labels it, and you're like, wait a second, am I reading that right? This enemy, really? Yeah, the game's rated mature, so they're able to get away with it. And again, I was saying, like, I kind of forgot, like, if you pick this game on YouTube or Twitch, it comes with the tag horror on it. I'm not sure if I would call it a horror game, but then when we got to like some of the areas, like we saw a lot of like really graphic content. I mean, there were like cartoony, like fish enemies being gutted open, or like the dolls being violated. But like I can definitely see, again, I'm reminded, oh yeah, this game does have a horror tag on it. I guess it's just when I think of a horror game, I just think of like, you know, running away from the monster type of horror games, which is not always horror. Yeah, it's really creepy, which I love it. I love this darker take on Alice in Wonderland. I've always liked Alice in Wonderland themed things just because I find them kind of, people get really creative with them. But the source material, I think, like the actual Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass books are not as imaginative or enthralling as I thought when I read them. It's mostly like pop culture that kind of elevated them to the status of where I think they are. Yeah, like Conker's Bad Fur Day is also a good example of that M rating. I have a couple friends that still really like Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think they tried to make like a spiritual successor to it, but didn't pan out, unfortunately. The books make no sense, but in theory it's one big math equation. Come on, credits. Keep scrolling. We're almost there, I think. It would be nice if there was music during this part, then I don't have to fill it up with my voice. Oh, the writer of Conkers was a mathematician? That's interesting. Come on, game. I want to get to the art gallery. I worked hard to unlock the art gallery. Also, I mean, I'll talk about this when we get to the gallery, but if you play... Oh, you're talking about Alice in Wonderland. I can't remember what Lewis Carroll... Was he a mathematician? I know he did like a bunch of things besides writing. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Alice that's kind of... And also, like, there's some controversy on, like, what was Lewis Carroll's actual relationship with Alice and her family? I think they reference that a couple times in this game. about some of the unscrupulous implications, but again, it was a long time ago, so it's a little hard to do. Yeah, Roger Jackson, great voice. He does the Cheshire Cat. He also does, what was it, the March Hare? A couple other characters too. I think when they did Alice Otherlands and Alice Asylum, they really worked hard on trying to get Alice's voice actor and Roger Jackson back for those roles, just because they're so iconic. I think they were able to get them back for they were able to get them back for Asylum, but not Otherlands, or was it vice versa? It was one of the two. The Jabberwocky was an enemy in the first game, and it makes a cameo in this game. Can we get Cake? There was a Cake in Chapter 3. There was the cake that said "Eat me" and made Alice turn large. And we beat up all the card soldiers, which was kind of fun. Again, very clever use of the shrink sense and the growing. A lot of the Wonderland references are very clever, I think, in this game. Localization team, I thought we already gone through this. And hey, Dreamy Yuma-chan, thank you so much for coming by. See, like, I'm committed to watching these credits. I don't want to just skip them, but we were so far into them. Yeah, Elsa's gonna panic every time she gets hiccups now. I hate the hiccups. I get the hiccups, well, I wouldn't say easily, but like, if I drink a lot of like water at the same time, like at once, which is a bad habit of mine. Usually when I eat and I have my water with me, I don't like pace myself. I usually like do all my eating, and at the end I'm like, oh, I gotta drink my water. And then I'll drink all my water in like one, and then that has a high chance of giving me the hiccups. I also don't really drink like carbonated beverages that much, and when I do, if I drink a lot at one time, it gives me the hiccups. The worst part about the hiccups for me is that I get like violent hiccups. Like, it's the type of hiccup that really hurts. and then they usually last for like quite a bit of time. Even if I make them go away, they come back like periodically until I go to sleep and then wake up, and then they go away for good. So yeah, I don't like the hiccups. You like Alice's atmosphere? You always recommend Cat Lady. Yeah. I love it a lot too. Yes, yeah, so some of these names are interesting if you're actually reading some of the credits. Some of these more foreign names. Van de Fontaine looks like an elven name. I remember one time in university, I was writing like a test. I think it was a chemistry test, and I got the hiccups in the middle of it. And again, my hiccups are loud and painful, so it was very awful. So I excused myself to go to the washroom and get some water from the water fountain. And the TA, of course, escorted me out because, you know, they want to make sure you're not cheating or anything like that. But I didn't want to explain to him that I was like trying to get rid of my hiccups, even though he could tell I was hiccuping. I know there's lots of different ways to get rid of hiccups, like holding your breath or drinking water upside down. The water upside down used to work for me, but it seemed to have lost its effectiveness. But one of the ways I guarantee get rid of my hiccups is lying down. For some reason, helps my body like resettle itself. But it doesn't go away right away. I usually have to lie down for like a couple minutes. And even then, sometimes there's a chance they come back. The good news is when I'm lying down, the hiccups aren't painful, just because the way gravity's working with my epiglottis or whatever. But anyways, I didn't want to explain to the TA that I had to lie down to get rid of my hiccups. Like, excuse myself from a test and then go and lie down in like on a bench in the hallway. But luckily, like the washroom area was kind of like cordoned off by this wall, and there were like benches on the other side for like a seating area, and then there was the washrooms, and the TA only escorted me as far as the waiting area. And he's like, I'll wait here. So then instead of going to the washroom, like I drank from the water fountain and I just laid on one of the benches for like 2 minutes, and then my hiccups went away, and then I went back. So I didn't have to explain it, but it was a time. Well, look, the Monk Studio Company. Look, that's me. I'm a monk. Well, in Final Fantasy XIV, I'm not an actual monk. Don't take that out of context. I remember, like, one of my friends showed me about one of my friend's moms showed me about the drinking water upside down thing for hiccups. And, like, I know now, I mean, later on I figured it's just, you know, you drink water, and then you leave your mouth closed and you just kind of bend over, and then you swallow upside down, works just as well. But, like, my friend's mom showed us how you can, like bend down with your head, like, between your calves, and then like put the glass to your mouth and actually drink upside down, and that would really work. But like the tricky part is you have to put your mouth on like the upper rim instead of the bottom rim of the glass because you're upside down. Otherwise, the water would spill out. So it feels really weird to drink that way, but it was kind of fun to do. Come on, game. Keep scrolling. Oh yeah, like people. Back on the description of when I saw the Monk Company thing come up, it's really unfortunate. You know, you guys know I like martial artists and fist fighting in video games, but like a lot of the, especially for like MMOs and stuff, when you have like a fist fighting class, it's almost always like a monk, which has like a religious connotation to it. But I don't want the religious connotation. I just want the punching connotation. Galdrakian is a cool looking name. That is a cool looking name. I should be reading some of these names. Maybe time will pass faster if I actually read all these names. Yeah, Monk of Punching. I'm a pacifist, but cracks knuckles. What are my thoughts of the game Sifu? I never actually played it. I think I heard about it. Is that the one where your like master betrays you and you have to like go and like beat him up after he like beats you up or something like that? I don't remember. I remember there was like a game, or was that Jade Empire I'm thinking of? Yeah, I've never played Shifu. Kiro, the credits have to hurry. I'm gonna be late for later plays. We'll see. Can I hold a button and make this go faster? I don't want to skip it by accident, but oh my god, I can. Oh my god, I can. Well, that was a good chance of chatting with you guys. Yeah, pacifist, more like try to pass this fist. Here, I think we're reaching the end. Okay. There we go. Let's have a look at some of the gallery stuff. Oh, I can just view the credits here if I wanted to. So, Past Matters is like a summary of the first game. But I'm not going to read all of this. How do I scroll this? Is this scroll? No, let's just go. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. If you're watching this on YouTube, I guess you can pause the video and read it. So again, little summary of the first game. This is artwork from the first game. You'll see here on the left. It looks like they're notes by Dr. Wilson. That's the doctor that we saw at the beginning, or at the end of chapter 5, at the end of chapter 4, beginning of chapter 5. And Dr. Wilson was apparently an unseen character in the first game. Like, you never actually saw him. He was just mentioned. So this is actually first appearance. But we never saw Nurse D. But apparently she's the one the Duchess is modeled after. The fungiferous forest, Boojums, Jackbombs, Snarks, Demon Dice, and the dastardly Red Queen. Yeah, so then it concludes with she left Rutledge in November depressed but committed to the struggle for her sanity. Nurse Witless found her in a situation with Dr. Bumby, and Alice was released to his care at the Houndsditch Home and Refuge for Wayward Youth in the East End. So let's look at the characters. So again, the characters are divided by chapter, but you only unlock the characters per chapter once you get all the bottles in that chapter. Otherwise, it only shows like the enemy characters, which is a very few of them. So we're gonna look at them. Oh, there's actually descriptions for each of them too. I'm not gonna read all of them because again it's long, but let's look at their pictures at least. I'll stay on them long enough in case you want to pause the video and look at them later though. This is Bumby. Yeah, there's a lot more characters than we thought, just because a lot of them only appear very briefly. Like, again, Bumby only actually appears in Chapter 1, and then we see, like, memories and quotes from him throughout the game, and then we see him, like, at the end. Despite being the main antagonist, he's not present throughout the whole game. We have Nurse Witless, or her name's Pris. We saw her in Chapter 1. Apparently, like, she turns into the... Like, Alice hallucinates her turning into the Bandersnatch, and then we see... When we get the Vorpal Blade, it's, like, stabbed into the skeleton of the Bandersnatch. Not the Bandersnatch, the Jabberwocky. Jabberwocky was an enemy in the first game, so... I think they said that they wanted a scene to show that when Alice went to the real world, like, Witless was dead, implying that Alice, like, killed her like she killed the Jabberwocky, but they didn't implement it. And then here we have some enemies, the Insidious Ruins. We saw a lot of these guys. We also saw the Bolterflies, mostly in the first chapter. The Madcaps. When I went back to the Hatter's Domain, it was a lot easier to beat up these guys with the Teapot Cannon, because you just shoot them with the Teapot Cannon, it just instantly shatters their shields, and then hit them again, then they die. These guys were annoying when they infinitely spawn, the Slithering Ruins. The iPods were also a lot easier to handle with the Teapot Cannon, once I went back to Chapter 1. Yeah, the Madcaps got decapitated, like, every time you killed them, too. Then the Menacing Ruins. Again, the Teapot Cannon really helped with these guys, but... I don't know, I almost find these guys harder than the Colossal Ruins sometimes, because the Colossal Ruins are very predictable. These guys have a lot of different attacks. I wish you could, like, rotate the models and look at them. Oh, our good friend the Cheshire Cat. I suppose I could admit that he's my alter ego. I like the Cheshire Cat, he's pretty cool. I always like the Cheshire Cat in most Alice adaptations. The White Rabbit, again, played more of a role in the first game. I'm surprised he didn't really play much of a role in this one. We saw his, like, head explode in the first cutscene of the game, but it was, like, papercraft cutscene. And then we saw him in the Radula rooms. And then the Duchess. Again, based after Nurse D, an unseen character in the real world. She's a boss in the first game. She fights you with the Pepper Grinder. But the Pepper Grinder's not a weapon for you in the first game. And then the Hatter. Then we saw the March Hare. Again, missed opportunity for us to fight the March Hare and the Dormouse in their giant mech. Actually, the way this Dormouse, he has, like, the wheels, it kind of reminds me of Rat Trap, the Transformers, specifically in his appearance in Beast Machines. Because that's what he gets, like, wheels in his, like, human Transformer form. And I used to love, like, Beast Wars and Beast Machines when I was a kid. I kind of want to see the new Transformers movie that has the Beast Transformers back. Why isn't that a thing? Why don't they bring back Beast Transformers? Oh yeah, these guys. We saw a lot of these guys floating around the stage everywhere, but they weren't enemies. Again, a lot of these creatures that are not... I think we're, like, that we didn't fight, I think we're supposed to be enemies at some point. Oh, this is the cat that we were chasing around in the real world. Oh yeah, these guys were in the Vale. Again, not fightable. Oh, the dodos! The dodo mechs. Froggy Footman! His appearance, formal, and intelligence, modest, were not required for this adventure. He's still a good frog. Where did we see him? Or was he just referenced? The Mock Sparrows. Formal Frog, aka Frogmole. I like that play on words. Oh yeah, this guy was in the background of the Radula rooms. Oh, a non-mechanized dodo. Well, here's Nan. I kind of like her gloves, like her lacy gloves. Then Jack Splatter. I don't really know what the point of putting him in the game was. He didn't really serve much of a purpose. We had the Ice Snarks. These were enemies from Chapter 2. Again, a lot easier to fight with the Teapot Cannon, which you don't get until Chapter 3. Oh yeah, these guys were like enemies during that mini-game, and they were seen in the background. Again, I wish they were actual fightable enemies. Why is the Mer Squid? Why is this here? This was like, wasn't this like the front of the Mock Turtle ship? Why is this in the gallery? Oh well. Does that imply it was sentient? Oh, the cannon crabs. Cute little guys with their cigars. Kind of feels bad that you're like ripping off their claws, but I guess you like kill them in the end, so. This asshole. This asshole. Yeah, the cigar. Like, when you fight the cannon crabs, what they do is they light their cannon using their cigar. They use their cigar, and they light the fuse on their cannons, and then they shoot their cannons. It's so cute. These assholes. I mean, I guess they weren't bad. It was just that one room that was pretty bad. Oh, the Colossal Ruins. Again, I found these guys actually a lot easier than the Menacing Ruins. Just because they're predictable, and there's not that many, and usually you don't have that many enemies when you fight one. But again, pretty creepy looking things. Especially when it keeps, like, hiding and showing its masks. Oh, we have Mr. Mock Turtle here. Oh, he looks so sad. Oh, good old Carpenter. Yeah, he was tall. Alice only went up to, like, his, like, thigh. Then we have the Walrus, this asshole. Oh, the fish couple. I love the fish people. They're so cute. They look like people that would fit in like SpongeBob. But then you see them all like dead at the end, which is sad. The octopus. This guy was fun. Mostly just because of his accent. The music fish was also very cute, and his cute way of speaking. It's kind of weird that the music fish was supposed to be the star of the music of Carpenter's show, but then it just kind of stayed outside the door and never came in, which probably saved it from being eaten. Apparently, I was reading about like they were asking why did they make the music fish look like a bottle, and apparently it's because around the entire level they were supposed to have bottle-shaped fish that would give off musical notes, but then that was cut. But then they kept this one in. All the oysters. Creepy looking. But I also feel bad for them. Oh, the mayor. Oh, he was the dude with... He was like the cuttlefish dude with the saw on his head. And it looked like he was like still breathing too. His body was still moving. Or maybe it's just because we were underwater. Turtle chest. I don't remember these guys. Do they have a head? Is it inside the chest? Questions, questions. Oh, hi, the Yeti. The Yeti only appeared in like one section of Chapter 2, very briefly. It feels like he should have played a bigger role in the first area. Wait. This poor fellow never even rose to the level of abominable. The piranhas. Oh, we have Radcliffe. I like how he's just in his, like, nightgown the entire game. Oh, we saw these guys standing on the street, too. I'm surprised they're in the gallery. Oh, the samurai wasp. Wait, why are they showing me, like, the naked samurai wasps? These guys wore, like, masks and clothes. They only look like this after you break off their clothes and mask. Beating up those defenseless origami ants. You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh, we have the ink wasps. Oh, even the statues get their own entry. Oh right, these guys breathe fire on me. We have these guys. Oh yeah, ah yes, the drifting ruins. I don't know, these guys are like one of the creepier ruins, especially when they fall down. If you hit them with a pepper grinder and then they sit there like writhing with their creepy doll faces. Oh yes, the caterpillar. Oh, we don't get to see the caterpillar in his caterpillar form in the gallery, it's only the butterfly version. The origami ants, they were so cute. Their soldier class is virtually useless against hostile strangers. Poor guys. Oh, the ant elder. These elders seem to know what must be done to avert disaster, but they are unable to do it. The ant monks. Clearly not the punching type of monks. Hey, Humpty, when did we see him? I remember seeing a picture of Humpty Dumpty on the wall in the dollhouse, but I don't think we actually saw Humpty Dumpty himself. Empress Wasp? Who is this? This should have been like the boss of that chapter 3. That would have been awesome. What could have been? What could have been? Ah, the Oriental Frog! What a good boy. Quite possibly the largest frog I've ever seen. Although maybe that's because I was shrunk by the caterpillar's smoke. Fred the Cop! Hi, Fred the Cop. Oh, did the other cop not have a name? There were 2 cops that took me out of the jail. The card guards are... Wait, why is there only Art of the Heart card guards? There are other card guards too. I want to see all of them. 2 cops, 2 Freds. You're right. We have the armored card guard as well. This guy was kind of a pain. Ah yes, the Executioner, my good friend. Again, it's kind of sad that the first trailer, or one of the first trailers for this game, shows the scene where you grow large and then step on him. It's such a funny reveal, but if you watch the trailer, it just has less of an impact. I do like his design, though. Oh, the White King reminds me of Papa. Yeah, he's supposed to be modeled after Mr. Little, apparently. Queen of Hearts. Oh, chess player, Alice. Dr. Wilson. Again, unseen character in the first game. Finally seen him for the first time in this game. Nurse Cratchit, who might be named after Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The orderly Tweedles. In Wonderland, they look like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and then in the real world, they look like, well, they were like the Asylum keeps. But again, why did they show the Wonderland version of one of them and then the real world version of the other instead of showing us the real world and the Wonderland versions of both. Because I don't think they didn't look identical. Like, why are they trying to save pages here when obviously they're using pages for everything? It just seems a little odd. Doll girls. Oh, here they are, the bitch babies. Oh, they have like screws coming out of their eyeballs. Ugh. And just the fact that they just have like 4 legs coming out of a head. Very disconcerting. Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of the bad guy in the Mask animated series. He was just like, he was like a head with 4 little like spider legs coming out the bottom. Oh, and then the doll maker. Like, he was a cool design actually for a boss. Especially with his like little like marionette things with the strings and the hands. Oh, the insane children. I think they were in the first game too. And then the insane child leader. Oh yeah, toy soldiers. These were confirmed to be supposed to be enemies in the game that they cut. Oh, there was supposed to be a doll boy? I don't think we ever saw one of these unless they were in the background. Why couldn't they just make us fight doll boys too? Oh, Dobby. Oh yeah, this guy looks like the bad guy from the Mask animated series, other than being a dog. This was supposed to be an enemy as well, I think. They cut him. Look at his eyelashes. Oh, and then that's it. 74 characters. Okay, so the Troubling Visions area is the art. 40 pieces of art, again divided by chapter. You need to get all the bottles in a chapter to unlock the artwork. Wait, why is it so small? Why is the art so small? Again, really cool. Here's Hatter's Domain. Apparently it also symbolizes like the Industrial Revolution that was overtaking London at the time. We have like the outside of Hatter's Domain, also very cool. Look at that. Was there supposed to be like a world map at some point? There is concept art of a world map for this game, and there's a lot of areas that were either cut or replaced, because there was like, I think it was like a town of books or something like that at one point. I think there was like a snowy area. Although they did have Tundra Fall, but not quite the same. Again, what could have been? What could have been? Why are these pieces so small? Let me zoom in and look at them. Again, the imagery of all the teapots and the soup and the plates, very cool. look at Alice over here, rowing her little teacup. I mean, even though they cut a lot of content from the game, they put a lot of mini games. Like there was the off with her head mini game. There was like the chess puzzles. There was the sliding puzzles. There was like the sliding sections. They added a lot of mini games despite having to cut other things. Oh, and then chapter 2 stuff. There's the Mock Turtle's ship. Oh, this was supposed to be the map for that area, I suppose. Oh, look, it's the bottlefish. Very cute. Oh, hi, Duchess and Pig. Why are you... I mean, I know you're married, but why is this picture here? Why is it in the chapter 2 section? The Duchess was in chapter 1. I love the idea of the ship being in the bottle too. That was kind of cool. Oh, this is a cool shot. Badass Alice. Yeah, life isn't about the boss fights, it's about the mini games. Who doesn't love mini games? Clearly, that's the best part, right? Well, that's where like the graveyard was with the drowned sailors. There's a fishbowl underwater with fish in it. It's like how in SpongeBob they're like, how do we have a lake underwater? And they're like, I don't know. Oh, and then chapter 3 stuff. Oh, there's the painting. Oh yeah, they had the painting minigames too. Like, look at that imagery, it looks so cool. It looks like something straight out of Okami. I love Okami. A lot of like, more teapots in the background. Ooh, look at those cherry blossoms. Ooh, were these supposed to be the origami ants? Were they supposed to be actual ants to begin with? Again, it kind of reminds me of crawling through that spider cave in Soma. The rain almost looks like spider webs here. Oh, then caterpillar's cocoon. And it's kind of weird to think of the Oriental Grove was actually like, actually really tiny, but then Alice got shrunk into it. Ooh, and here she's like walking on the smoke trails. That's kind of neat. Some of the platforming areas were a little finicky though, I'll admit. Oh, is this for Queensland? Was this supposed to be like a scrapped enemy or something? Yeah, Caterpillar was in the cocoon but still accessing the hookah. Yeah, you're right. He knows what he's about. Oh, I think this is supposed to be the Red King. Or is this concept art for the White King? Oh, I didn't even see the Alice here. Looks like, it almost looks like Anima from Final Fantasy X. Oh, there's Card Bridge, that's neat. Card Bridge was an interesting area. Ooh, is this the map for the Queensland? Again, I love how you can see all the little dotted lines and the red dots to show you like locations. Oh, gigantic Alice. Those tiny car soldiers did like no damage to me. I mean, obviously you're supposed to be powerful during those sections, but I don't even think they were doing damage to me. They were just like staggering me. Only like the cannonballs were actually doing damage to me. Are these all in the art book? I'm pretty sure they are. I think the art book has, the art book has more. I can't remember if every single piece here is accounted for, but I would imagine so. It's quite a thick book. And I think some of these are actually like full like 2-page spreads instead of just these tiny little thumbnails. Oh, like look at this imagery. I think Queensland is one of my favorite areas just for the imagery. Oh, look at that. Was that supposed to be the Red Queen? Or the Queen of Hearts at one point? This would have been a cool boss fight. Tentacles. Oh, Asylum Alice? Ugh. Just look at that dead look in her eyes. And her hair is like the ring girl. Oh, there's the dollmaker's workshop. Oh, and the infernal train is underneath it. Very fascinating. Oh, the dollhouse. Again, very interesting area. I didn't even notice there's a whole bunch of Alices around. I thought there was only like, I only saw one at first and I was like, wait, there's more. The doll maker. Again, I love the design for the Infernal Train. The fact that it looks like a big cathedral is very cool. Oh, the insane children. Oh, hello. A beetle. A very dapper looking beetle riding this train. I'm surprised we only talked to Hatter, Caterpillar, and the Queen inside the train. I thought there'd be... I kind of wish there was one character from each chapter to represent them, like maybe putting Carpenter or the Mock Turtle, and then having the insane children leader. Dollmaker's Workshop again. You hope the Beetle's doing well. I hope he's enjoying his trip on that train. Oh, and then we're back. Pretty cool. And then the theatrical section is just the cutscenes. Like the 2D cinematics, like the papercraft. So we're not going to watch all those again, but... because we've already seen them. You can re-watch them. Then the memories, we won't go over again, but the memories are just broadly divided into... like, you guys couldn't see it because my VTuber model was blocking them, but they actually have pictures to go along with them just to show who's talking. So this one's like Alice's memories. Oh no, these ones are just her. Those are just her memories from like every time she goes into those fiery doors in the middle of each chapter. And we have Bumby's memories.
Flower's purpose is simple and immutable. Human purpose is fickle, because it is a slave to memory. Memories must be strictly managed, Alice. Unproductive ones must be eliminated.
And then these are the little family memories.
Frog, Alice, I swear. You jump so well.
Froggy. Pris. Oh, she only has 8 memories.
It could have happened that way, Alice. You remember poor Mr. Crook died, didn't he? Dr. Wilson rejects spontaneous combustion, but I trust Mr. Dickens.
Yeah, Bumby had a lot. And then Dr. Wilson has a bunch too.
How small she's become, all curled up. She's barely there, a vixen in her hidey-hole.
Nan doesn't have very many though.
Finish your soup, girls. Bovine juveniles gave their all for it.
And then Radcliffe. Oh, I actually got all of Radcliffe's.
The industry thrives on suffering, obsolescence, and ruination, Alice. It's made the East End into a privy. Consider a simple farm life in Australia, perhaps. We might liquidate what remains of your inheritance.
The last thing I'll show you is, I mean, again, this button doesn't work, this just crashes the game, but in the original PS3 and Xbox One, the DLC gave you access to the first game, you could play it. You also got DLC dresses and DLC weapons. In the Steam version, none of this is supported, but the data for the dresses and the weapons is in the code, so if you go and finagle with the code, you can actually see them. The weapons take a little bit more to use, so I didn't bother because I don't like using them because they're a bit too powerful. It's just alternate versions of the Vorpal Blade, the Hobby Horse, the Pepper Grinder, and the Teapot Cannon that are stronger than their original counterparts. But the dresses are pretty easy. You just go into the code, you change like one of the false values to true. I'll show you the dresses. So story mode is the default. So story mode is Alice will dress however suits the area. So usually she starts each chapter in her blue dress and then she switches to the chapter dress. So you don't get any special abilities with this one, but it's pretty cool. And it also means that you are suitable to the scenery. You also switch your weapons. If you had the DLC weapons, this is where you would switch them. Like the Teapot Cannon is like stylized after looking like the cat Or the Cheshire Cat, for example, the Pepper Grinder is like a different color. The Vorpal Blade looks different. The Hobby Horse looks different. They get special abilities as well, but we won't worry about that. So every time you beat a chapter, you also unlock the dress for that domain. And if you equip it, it also has special effects. If you're wearing that dress with story mode on, it doesn't do anything. So, let's see. So, classic dress, which is the blue dress, if you turn this on, she'll always wear the classic dress. Regains health when shrunk. Steam dress, this is the chapter 1 dress. Breakables drop more teeth and roses. The Siren dress, enemies drop twice as many roses. And this one's interesting. I like how her hair even has different physics wearing this one because you're like underwater. Yeah, more teeth, exactly what we needed, you're right. Silk Maiden, enemies drop twice as many teeth. And then the Royal Suite, or Royal Suit. Health limited to 4 roses total, so I guess this is more if you want to give yourself a challenge. Equipping this one makes it so the game's a little harder. The Stitched shrink sense duration is doubled. So when you unshrink, you can still see like shrink sense things for like a couple seconds. This one makes it so you can see them for a bit longer once you come out of shrink mode, which is useful for platforming. Oh, then now we have the DLC dresses. So these ones are usually pretty powerful. Instead of being labeled after domains or labeled after people. So Caterpillar's dress, shrink sense is always active, even when you're not shrunk. I love how her hat looks like his mouth. Actually, I can rotate this, right? Oops. Oh. There we go. I want to see the back of them. Oh look, he has like his face on the wings. This is Cheshire Cat's dress. Pretty creepy looking. See like her rib cage. She's got like cat ears too. Alice is a furry in this one. Look, Hollow Eve's turns into like a bony tail and like a rib cage, or like a hip bone. Disable all rose drops from enemies. So again, this is a dress that makes the game harder for you if you want to challenge yourself, I suppose. Checkmate. Doubles damage for all weapons. So this one, of course, is to make the game easier for yourself. Yeah, this one's really interesting. Flesh Maiden. This one is based after the Queen of Hearts, obviously. Look at her feet. They're just drenched in blood. Oh, look. Hollow Eve's turns into one of those heart eyeballs with a fleshy ribbon. So again, you can activate Hysteria at any time, in other words, super mode. I think you get an achievement for beating the Dollmaker without taking any damage. So if you wear the Flesh Maiden dress, it's really easy, so... Because you can just go into Hysteria mode and then just keep yourself in Hysteria mode all the time, then you won't take any damage. Yeah, the Meat dress upgrade. Her eyes also turn different too. On this one, White Rabbit. Late but lucky. Imbued with the power of Shrinking Violets. I think what that means is that your health always regenerates itself slowly over time. Turns into a furry with this one too, sort of. Her feet. Oh, look at that. Ew, look at her back. Look at Hollow Eve's turns into like a pair of like rabbit paws in the tail, and then the... She looks like a Chester sister. For Rumineko, you're right. Oh, and the Hattress. Oh, so this one, right. This one's the Hatter, obviously. She gets like a wooden automaton arm. It kind of reminds me of like Yoshimitsu's arm from Soul Calibur 2. So, once you upgrade all your weapons, there's really no use for teeth in the game. So this one makes you lose teeth instead of health. And I ended the game with like over 3,000 teeth, so... It kind of reminds me, I think Twilight Princess, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess also had that armor that makes you lose like rupees instead of taking health damage. I think you can use this one too to fight the doll maker and not take any damage because you lose teeth instead of health, but I don't remember if that works. It's just easier to use the Flesh Maiden anyways, but... And there we have it. That's all our content for Alice Madness Returns. Again, a gem of a game. Unfortunate the Steam version has some issues with it, but still usable, still playable. Pretty fun, imaginative, just the right length. Unfortunate no boss battles, a little bit of janky targeting, a little bit of too much precision on like certain platforming sections, and the other ones are very lenient, so I would say this is a fun game. Check it out for yourself if you're interested, or if you ever feel like finding a copy of American McGee's Alice, the first game somehow. Maybe I'll stream that game in the future. I don't really have a desire to play the first game, but I also don't have an easy way to go about obtaining it, other than, I guess if I crack out my old PS3 and hook up my copy of PS3 Alice, and if I still have the DLC downloaded, I could play it, but I think this game is good enough on its own to stand by itself. Again, love the art, love the aesthetics, a lot of interesting imagery as well. Just a shame we won't see more of it, but there are those Alice Otherlands short films, 2 of them that show her adventures in Jules Verne's novel, or Mind. So if you're interested in more Alice stuff, but they took on a more of like an anime art style for that one too, which was also a complaint. But again, I haven't watched it, but if you want more Alice content, or if you want to just read up about all the developer notes of what they would have done for Alice Asylum but didn't get around to, it's actually really interesting. You really like Alice's eyes? Yeah, I think so too. Very striking. Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much for joining me on this series. I really appreciate it. I've had a lot of fun with it despite the technical hiccups, but I'm happy to move on to another series now. So tomorrow we're doing Umineko like usual. We're reading episode 6. It's our second session for it, so stay tuned. And then on Sunday, I'm probably going to pick up Blaze Blue Continuum Shift again, because we kind of stopped and paused on that game, so we're going to go back. I want to finish Continuum Shift to get the story out, and I will post a new schedule later this weekend. It's probably going to be a shorter week for streams, because the next Final Fantasy XIV patch is coming out next week, and I probably want to just enjoy that off stream when I can. But thank you again, also for joining me on the chatting session before we went into our gaming session today on stream. I had a lot of fun, so I'll try to do more of those in the future. It's fun to talk to you guys as well, and I appreciate you guys chatting back with me. It's really fun. Is there anything else I want to say? I guess follow my Twitter if you want to keep up with updates on this when I stream, and YouTube if you want to check out old videos I've done, like my previous Alice VODs are being uploaded there as well as previous games I've done, like RPGs, horror games, action games, mystery games, visual novels, a lot of stuff. Yeah, thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. Let's have a look at Twitch. I believe some of my friends are streaming right now, so I want to raid them. Let's have a look. So, Kieran's playing Mario Kart with his friends Reisna and Myhan. Let's go raid Reisna. We haven't raided her before, but she's a fun friend of Kieran's, very supportive, very awesome streamer. She also plays Final Fantasy XIV, so check her out. We'll stick around for a raid, and otherwise I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Umineko, or on Sunday for Blaze Blue Continuum Shift. Thanks guys, take care, have a great weekend, bye bye.